Hi, my name is Nikki Truesdale, and I want to touch on school choice for just a minute. School choice is generally believed to be the idea that you can choose wherever your kids go to school. And actually, in the United States, we already have that. The only difference is that you have to choose if you're going to utilize a free public school or if you're willing to pay extra for the privilege to send your child to a private school or to even homeschool them. Well, school choice now typically means government funded private and home schools. It means that the government is going to give you a voucher or an education savings account or funds that are called something else very clever. But basically, it means that they will give you money to pay for your private and your home school. It sounds nice. It sounds good to say, you know what, I pay into the system, I ought to get it back. But you're not getting back that money. The first way that you're not getting it back is that it's not necessarily coming out of the tax dollars that you pay in for property taxes. If you do the math, you'll quickly see that it doesn't add up. In many cases, a family with a pretty average house, depending on where you live, is going to run $3, $5, $7, or $8,000 a year in property taxes. That's one amount for a year. But what if you have two or three children at home and your state's promising to give you $8,000 or $10,000 per child? You can see that it's not the same amount. It starts to appear that you're getting your tax dollars back and your neighbor's tax dollars back and your other neighbor's tax dollars back too. So where's this money coming from? Well, it's not coming from the General Education Fund. And every state is going to be different, but I encourage you to dig in and find out just how this is being funded. In my home state of Texas, the bills haven't passed yet, but every time the legislature is in session, they introduce a new one. And it's gone anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 per student that they're promising. And the money is now has migrated to come out of the general fund. That means the public school system is keeping everything that they've already received, and new money is going to be given to private school and homeschool parents. Well, that is definitely not helping government, and it's not helping the taxpayers. Your tax bill will go up, government will grow. What's odd about this is school choice is usually something that conservatives push for without thinking it through. Conservatives are usually for smaller government and less intrusion into our lives, but school choice is the opposite of that. If the government is going to grow just to give you money for your private school and homeschool, they're also going to tell you how to spend that money. So instead of you deciding where the money goes, the state is going to decide how you spend it and how you educate your child. If you homeschool, do you really want a bureaucrat stepping into your living room and deciding which school books you can buy and how many days a year you have school, how many hours a day, what you do for your children's medical care, and so on? Do you want them deciding which health curriculum you're going to use or how soon you can teach sex ed or whether or not you can teach a creation curriculum? I don't think so. Even if you've never considered private school or homeschooling before, this should alarm you because you always want to have that option open to you. And when people want the option to get out of public school, it's because they need something different. They need something better, different academic outcomes. They need more control over their lives. They need more flexibility. All the reasons that people leave the public school, those are going to disappear when the government is in charge of all forms of education. Just think about it. If the same state education agency is overseeing your private school or your homeschool, isn't it just a government school? What's alarming in many states is first, they introduce this money without any strings attached. They'll say, nope, this is your money, do whatever you want with it, just make sure it's educational. But then it doesn't take long before citizens, and rightly so, get very upset and say, why are you handing out checks to all these families? We want accountability. We want to know where they're spending their money. Every taxpayer should feel that way. And so the restrictions start to pile up. In the state of Arizona, that's exactly what's happening. It wasn't that long ago that people were touting Arizona as a model for school choice because no restrictions, plenty of money, everybody's happy. Only just this year, Governor Katie Hobbs has said, we need to crack down on where the money's being spent and what kind of curriculum is being approved. And not only is that happening in several states, but the intrusion is getting even more severe in suggestions that parents have to pass a background check just to homeschool their own children in their own home. Certain organizations are getting involved with the legislature and trying to impose medical restrictions. That means if you pulled your child out of school because maybe you don't like the way they're teaching health, sex, and gender, you'll still have to fall under that same curriculum if you take the state funds. So ask yourself, if you have taken your kids out of public school, or you ever even think you might, do you really want it to be the same kind of school? I don't think so. There are many more reasons why school choice is a deceitful thing and why it is not a good idea. And if you want to know more, go to my website, nikkitruesdale.com, and just type school choice in the search bar. I've got plenty of things for you to read there with the links to back it up, and I promise you it'll be well worth your time. Thank you for listening.